I woke up one night with a crazy idea. I wanted to start a secret society. I called it the Female Unicorn Project. See, the thing
Wait.
What?
What exactly are we talking about here? Give me some context about the unicorn thing. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You don't think people know what a unicorn is?
Not really.
Okay, well, that's fair. Let's dig into the lingo. So a unicorn, well, I mean, I know my son Elliot, he has this blow up unicorn that he brings to the swimming pool. And that's not what I'm talking about. So a unicorn is a mythical creature, but it's also a term used to talk about a startup that's still privately owned and that's worth $1 billion or more. And like for some reason, the moment that, it's listed and it becomes public, it's not a unicorn anymore. It's very strange. So we saw like Coursera was unicorn. They went public. Now not a unicorn.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's a startup. It's worth $1 billion and it's still on private hands.
All right, so when we're talking about that, I have a whole list actually with questions regarding different words that you use in the business environment. So let me start with, what is a cockroach?
A cockroach. See, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, there was this idea that not everyone should be a unicorn. Some should be zebras or others should be cockroaches. A cockroach startup is a company that can survive a nuclear war, meaning that they generate revenue. So even, we don't even know what's going to happen after COVID. So if you're a unicorn, you're usually backed by like a lot of money. And if that money's taken away from you, or if your influx of cash disappears, you might die and lose all of your glitter. A cockroach, they make their own money and they're so robust that they'll survive anything, which I'm sure you know if you've ever had a cockroach at home.
And last time you mentioned something about convertible notes, and I wasn't sure at all what that is.
Yeah, so convertible note, that's a tough one. So the thing is, a lot of times, like in the beginning of your business, it can be hard to discuss with investors what the company is worth because you're just starting out. So in order to, for example, postpone the discussion about what your company's worth, you can sign a convertible note. So you get money and you have, it's kind of like a loan in the beginning. And then there's a conversion event where it changes and they end up buying equity. And we once signed this convertible note that actually lasted for 3 years. So instead of when we were super, super young and no one really knew what CanopyLAB would be, we didn't determine the valuation of the company at that stage. We waited until later. So there's like a lot of benefits to that, but there's also a lot of things you gotta watch out. Maybe we'll do a special episode on convertible notes.
So as a startup, are you fighting other startups? Because I see these seed rounds everywhere. Like,
yeah.
Is that boxing? What is that?
Yeah, seed. I haven't thought about it like that. Well, first of all, you are competing against each other a little bit because there is only so much cash. But there is a lot of cash right now. No, seed, I would think of it more like, like the seed of a plant. So a seed round is when you raise money, could be from angel investors, it could be from a capital fund, but it's that early money designed to make you grow and become a big company.
Okay, you keep doing that. What are angel investors? Angels? Like what?
Okay, so angel investors, they should be called devil investors because they can be super tricky. But it's private persons who use their private money, and usually it's not a lot of money. And then they put it into your company. So it's private persons who either out of interest or also, who are looking to make money, buy a little piece of your company.
Wow. And when it comes to series, is that again related to the boxing or football, or is that something else? We have something like series A, B, C. Where are we going?
I've actually always been super confused about like when it's seed, then all of a sudden it's called series. So series A, B, C, I don't know why it's called series all of a sudden, but it's the big rounds of financing that come after. So typically the series A will be led by an institutional investor and they'll come with a lot of money if you're doing the right thing. And then usually that's when you're at a stage of like doing $1 million in revenue per year. That's when you can do your series A. And then B and C, it really depends on your industry. But there are kind of these fixed, angel seed, A, B, C, and then some decide to go public on that journey and some don't.
And when you're talking about all these investors and angels, I always hear you mentioning the term due diligence.
Yes.
What is it?
So due diligence, I think, imagine that like the worst possible lawyer type you can, see from some series you've seen on TV, like Suits. They come into your business, because there's an investor who wants to give you a lot of money, or not give you a lot of money, invest a lot of money because you're kicking some ass, then they gotta make sure everything's all right. They're gonna come and look under the carpet and make sure you've locked your, employee files into the cabinet. They're gonna check your platform. Is everything you're doing all right? Do you have the right legal structure? That's called the due diligence. And as the company grows, the due diligence can get super big. So basically, a lawyer who comes and checks if you have your shit under control, and if you do, you can receive the investment. Sometimes they might even give you a sheet of paper saying, we are gonna do the investment, but you need to fix this and this and this and this and this, and then they'll give you 1 to 3 months to fix it. Some of it's usually totally cool and totally fair. Startup world is the Wild West, and they gotta make sure we're doing all the right things. But sometimes, in my opinion, it can get a little ridiculous.
Okay, that's very insightful, but I got 2 more.
Okay.
What is a product market fit?
The product market fit is when you're developing a product, a lot of times you're doing it by yourself, and maybe you have limited users that are trying it out. So you might have this idea that you're building something people like and they want to buy, but you really don't know. When a company's reached its product market fit, you've started selling your product to paying clients at such a volume, and you're getting good feedback that an investor trusts that if they invest more money, you don't have to radically change the product, but you can just make it bigger, 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 like the sales, the scaling of it.
And I assume there's a lot of terms when it comes to these deals. So I have something called term sheet.
The term sheet, the famous term sheet. The term sheet, it's basically a piece of paper that, when you're getting married, that says, a lot of times people will do some kind of prenup or something that says, this is what you own, this is what we own, this is how we interact, and, if we divorce each other, this is what it looks like. The term sheet is in the same way. It sets out the expectations that the investors have that you have to live up to, and your expectations of them. So it's a legal document that basically makes sure you know how to interact with each other, who decides what, etc.